Hello, and welcome to this quick guide on how to make a roller coaster in Crayta. If you haven't used Ed's TrackWorks package before, I strongly recommend that you get your head around using it in a simple scenario such as making a train go around a track first before tackling a roller coaster. That said, if you want to dive into roller coasters, that's totally cool as well. To start with, I'm going to need to use Ed's TrackWorks package to make a working roller coaster. So I'm going to head over to the community tab, type in TrackWorks, like with an X at the end, and make sure that TrackWorks is installed in my game. Next, it's time to get creative and build the roller coaster track. I'm in the library, I navigated to the meshes tab and select the roller coaster tracks. Start by building a simple station, maybe with a few of these straight bits. Give yourself plenty of space at the start and at the end in case you need to match the track exactly to the end of the roller coaster. And then we'll be looking at starting our chain lift hill. So I've got this slice of track here, which is essentially going from a flat to a slope, and then I'm using the chain lift to bring my roller coaster up. Now, none of this will actually work until I apply Ed's TrackWorks package. So bear that in mind while you're building this, that building the actual roller coaster is only half of the job. Once you've got your roller coaster built, I would also recommend making sure that you build it not necessarily in and around the terrain like I've done here. Maybe think about building it in thin air first and then modifying the terrain afterwards once you've tested it and you know that it all works. Once it's built, make sure that you have clicked on every section of the track and added entity add script. You need to add TW track section to every section of the track. Also, to do with setup, you need to add TW system to your terrain. So make sure that that's added. That you can find that in the templates tab once you've installed Ed's TrackWorks package. TW system, make sure that's added. And also make sure that you've added TW roller coaster prototypes as a child of TW system. And that contains all of the important data around the different sections of track and the different carts on the roller coaster. So once you've added TW's track section to every section of your track, and you've added TW system and TW roller coaster prototypes into your game world, the next thing is to add your rider. You can find one of the roller coaster riders by navigating to the meshes tab again, typing in roller and using one of these fancy colored roller coaster riders. Start with just the front, and then we can add some carts to it once we know that it works and once we know that it gets around the track. So add a rider onto your track like this. And then to make the rider work and interact properly, you're going to need to add a couple of scripts to it. First is TW transform, and the next one is TW vehicle. With TW transform, make sure to check enable rail physics, because the roller coaster rider is essentially, it's not powered. The chain lift will pull it up to the top of a hill, and then it's up to gravity and the roller coaster to make its way around the course. So make sure that you've added TW transform, you've checked enable rail physics, and you've set the friction to a really small amount, something like 0.05 or 0.1 is good. You also need to set TW vehicle and make sure that you have is driving checked. Now, my roller coaster is a two-car affair. So I've got this front one and another cart here, and both of them have TW transform and TW vehicle scripts added to them. And then I've just used the previous vehicle to point at this one. So on this here, on the front rider, I've selected the previous rear vehicle drop down, and I've found this vehicle. And likewise with this vehicle, I've got the next vehicle, and that's pointing at the front one. So that should couple them together if you want to make a two-cart rider. Once you've set up your vehicle, you're going to need also to build your lift hill. Now, you've already built it with the meshes, but you also need to add the scripts to make it work, the functionality behind the scenes. So start from the exact piece of track that your rider is sitting on. so this flat piece here, and make sure you add TW track block section module lift hill. Entity add script TW track block section module lift hill. That's the bit you need. I've left my speed to 500. And so every section of the track that lift or that is going to pull the roller coaster to the top of the hill needs to have that script attached. So all the way up here, these have all got that script attached to them, including this one. And I've actually added a little bit of a TW track section module boost to this curve just to make sure that we're off to a flying start, a little bit of an acceleration boost there once we get to the top of the hill. So once I've added my lift hill and I've got TW transform and TW vehicle on my cart, if I start the game, then I should see that the cart makes its way around the track. If for any reason the cart isn't, or it comes to a hill where it can't quite make it up or anything like that, you might need to modify your track to take into account the actual physics that is going on. So if it can't make it over the top of a hill, you might need to make that hill a little bit smaller. If it's going too slow around a section of a track and it's a bit boring, then you might need to put in a couple more dips and make it more interesting. Sometimes it's better to make the track short and fun rather than long and winding and tedious. So bear that in mind when you're building your roller coaster track. Although a really long roller coaster can be a really good fun experience in Crayta. Okay, so at that point, you should be able to test your cart and make any tweaks that you need to make sure that it makes it around the track. And then, well, you can start to sort of bring it into your game world and start to apply some more decorations and maybe some tunnels and things like that to your cart. If you want to ride your roller coaster, you're going to need to add a locator as a child of your roller coaster cart. I've called mine rider seat, and then add TW rider seat to it. When you test the game, the cart will just shoot off and you might not have time to actually get on board. So you need to do a couple of things in order to ride it. Firstly, select your roller coaster cart, find the on interact binding within the mesh here, and you're going to need two bindings. One is the rider seat. So that's the locator that we just added, and we added the TW rider seat script to it by doing entity add script TW rider seat. You're going to need to find that and then choose the event sit. And that will mean that when we interact with the cart, our player camera gets added to wherever that locator is. So mine's around here near the front. The other thing you need to do is with the lift hill that's directly underneath that cart, make sure that you've checked the active so that it's not active on the lift hill TW track block section module lift hill script. So that should be unchecked so that it's not going to start by pulling our cart. Select the cart. In the on interact binding, you will add that piece of track and you will choose the TW track block section module lift hill, and you're looking for the activate event. That means that now when you test the game, you can look at that cart, interact with it, and your camera should be transported to the locator that's on that cart, and at the same time the cart starts moving. And then the only thing you can do is kind of sit back and enjoy your roller coaster. Hands in the air. So that's a quick guide on how to build roller coasters in Crayta, and I look forward to seeing and riding some of yours. Take care.